You know that feeling when your anxiety is just screaming like a siren, but somehow no one else around you can hear it? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound, deeply empathetic framework for processing anxiety based on our source material. We're going to talk about shifting our expectations, moving away from constantly waiting for some loud, dramatic rescue, and instead, learning how to recognize a quiet, steady presence. If your nervous system has been running on absolute overdrive lately, the concepts we're about to explore offer a truly fascinating alternative to how we normally think about finding peace.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question that's probably going to hit close to home if your nervous system is constantly on high alert. Why do we so often mistake a quiet response for absolutely no response at all? Our source argues that when we're panicked, we just naturally expect an answer that matches the screaming volume of our fear. And when we don't get that, we automatically assume we've been left entirely alone.
And that brings us to this core tension. We spend so much time bracing for a headline-making rescue, right? A total spectacle, loud interventions and sirens coming to fix everything. But the source points out something amazing. The deepest kind of peace actually arrives on a completely different frequency. It comes as a whisper, just a breath, a small, steady hush that slips right under the noise of your anxiety.
So, Section 1, Hearing the Quiet Whisper. Let's look at how to recognize the symptoms of a high-alert nervous system.
The physical exhaustion of anxiety is so deeply specific, isn't it? The source gets really real here. It talks about a mother who literally hasn't slept properly since a medical diagnosis 2 seasons ago. Or sitting there doing midnight math on a bank statement, just desperately hoping the numbers magically change. It's hitting refresh on your inbox before your feet even touch the floor in the morning, or living with your shoulders permanently hiked up an inch and your jaw just absolutely aching by noon. The text emphasizes that absolutely none of this goes unnoticed. Now this is fascinating. If we look at the original Greek origin of the word anxiety, it gives us a completely different perspective. We tend to think of it as a failure of courage, but historically, it's defined as a divided heart, a mind being pulled in 2 totally different directions at once. It's not a lack of faith. It is simply your mind being split in half by the sheer overwhelming weight of the stakes.
Moving on to Section 2, Unlearning Religious Shame. We really need to dispel this myth that anxiety equals weak faith.
I really want you to let this sink in for a second. Have you ever had a well-meaning friend or heard a speaker claim that a real believer wouldn't need therapy or a pill? Well, the source hits this head on, stating unequivocally that medication is not a verdict against your faith. The idea that some disappointed higher power is just up there waiting for you to get your act together is entirely false.
We have got to drop the stigma around caring for our biology. Think about it. We wouldn't judge someone for wearing a brace because their knee needs physical help to heal, right? In exactly the same way, your brain's chemistry sometimes just needs a little external repair. Utilizing medication or therapy is an honest repair job, not some kind of spiritual failure.
Honestly, just dropping your shoulders and admitting, hey, I am at my absolute limit, might be the exact way peace finally gets to you. People might try to talk you out of that vulnerability, telling you to toughen up. But that softness, that is literally the open door the whisper uses to come in. Pretense pushes peace away, but pure honesty draws it right in.
Which brings us to Section 3, From Fist to Bowl. This is a highly practical framework for processing worry, based on Philippians 4.
Now you've probably heard this famous quote before, but pause and look at the context here. This isn't some harsh command being barked at you from a parade ground. It's a gentle invitation from a guy who was sitting in a Roman prison cell, chained to a guard, facing execution. I mean, he had every external reason in the world to be terrified, but he found a way to stop the worry from running the negotiation alone. And look at that word, supplication. It's kind of this big, fancy theological word, but what it actually means is asking for help without needing a perfect, polished script. You do not have to clean it up first. You can literally just mumble your fears into a pillow at 3 in the morning, and that counts.
So, here's the actionable framework the source lays out. You can do this anywhere, standing in an elevator, doing the dishes, wherever. Step 1, name the specific fear out loud to make it tangible. Step 2, stitch just one tiny thank you into the asking, even if it's just for the air in your lungs to keep you from spiraling. Step 3, pass the bowl across the table. And step 4, wait. Just let the asking sit there for a single breath without rushing to see if anything changed. It's like a massive internal shift is taking place. You're taking this anxiety from a tight, clenched fist deep inside your ribs, which, by the way, nobody can pry open to help you with, and you're turning it into an open, small bowl. You just set the worry on the table to be received. You stop wrestling with the fear, and you just make an offering of it.
Okay, Section 4, the Sentinel of Peace. Let's completely redefine what peace actually looks like.
This is where it gets so incredibly cool. In that ancient letter, the original military context of the word guard doesn't mean some magic spell that instantly makes everything perfectly calm. It means a sentinel, a literal military sentinel posted at the perimeter of your mind, staying awake all night to watch the gates, so that the city, meaning you, can finally get some sleep.
So, the myth is that peace is a sedative or an immediate erasure of whatever difficult situation you're in. But the reality? Peace is the guard walking right beside you through the unfixed thing. It doesn't instantly solve the math problem or the medical diagnosis or the silent marriage, but it stops those unfixed things from eating you alive while you wait for a resolution.
And hey, this retraining takes time. It's kind of like a frightened dog getting used to a new house. On try number 1, passing the bowl might just feel like a silly exercise doing practically nothing. But stick with it. By try 30, you'll notice the fear spikes a little less sharply and leaves a little sooner. And by try 100, that peace is guarding the gate before worry can even unpack its bags in the room.
If your anxiety has had you waking up before the sun in this state of pure, exhausting vigilance, please hear this message loud and clear. You are being invited to let something else do the watching for a change. Your body's habit of staying on guard was once necessary, but you do not have to stay up guarding the gates anymore. The peace itself is the sentinel.
The source leaves us with this beautiful, profound thought. The answer arrived quietly. The quiet was the answer. Keep those words folded in your pocket this week. The deepest reply to a frightened soul just doesn't use the shouting frequency of panic. Panic demands absolute certainty by morning, but peace makes friends with the not knowing.
So to wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with this question the next time the breath catches in your throat. Are you exhausting yourself auditioning for a dramatic rescue when all your nervous system really needs is the steady, quiet company of the whisper? Think about it. Thank you for exploring this framework with me today. Take a deep breath, pass the bowl, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.